After Ferruccio Lamborghini's first and successful attempt into the world of exotic sports car with the 1964-66 Lamborghini 350 GT, Ferruccio was ready to unveil its evolution with the 1966 Lamborghini 400 GT 2+2. The 400 GT was built between 1965 and 66 and mainly was a 350 GT with a larger 4-liter V12 engine only produced at 23 units, of which 3 were aluminum bodies. But the following year, Lamborghini wanted to take its evolution to the next level by increasing the interior space to please a wider audience. This gave birth to the Lamborghini 400 GT 2+2 in 1966. Franco Scaglione's design of the first Lamborghini prototype, the 350 GTV, had been reworked and produced by Touring with its superleggera technique consisting of laying aluminum panels over a thin tubular structure to minimize weight, was abandoned to be able to produce and maintain car more efficiently, even if the superleggera badges were still adorning the 400 GT 2+2 hood. The oval headlights encased in protuberant curved fenders from the 350 GT were replaced by a flushed twin-round headlights surrounded by heavy chrome trim on each side as some late 400 GTs, making the 400 GT 2+2 not as elegant as the 350 GT, while the hood was set low due to the use of side-draught carburetors as in the 350 GT. The windshield now adorned 2 wipers instead of the single one found on the 350 GT and was slightly panoramic with arched posts. The rear quarter windows and rear window were generous with thin pillars, giving the 400 GT 2+2 a fantastic all-around visibility, but the rear window had a higher baseline to make room for a bigger trunk lid, allowing for easier cargo access. The rear fenders just had a thin raised longitudinal edge matching the pattern on the front fenders, and with the flat trunk lid, our 400 GT 2+2 had an air of Aston Martin DB4, 5 and 6, also created by Touring and much loved by Ferruccio Lamborghini. To provide more interior space, the roofline was raised by 2.6 inch or 6.5 cm. To conclude, the rear split bumper also followed the front bumper design, and in a perfect Italian fashion, 4 exhaust pipes and a set of Borani wire wheels was adopted and gave the 400 series a nice 60s classic look, especially with the rear squared-off wheel arches. With its long doors, entering the 400 GT 2+2 wasn't a problem, and once inside, leather was found everywhere, including on the dashboard. The binnacle had an upper lip unlike the flatter 350s unit, with 2 big gesture dials placed behind a 3-branch wooden Nardi steering wheel with a small pressure oil gauge in the middle. The center console also received 4 small dials, and all were surrounded by chrome bezel under a new wood trim background. Still on the center console was a cluster of light and toggle switches with no markings, adding to the clean dash layout, while details such as elegantly shaped door handles and other finishing touches set Lamborghini apart from Ferrari. As any 2+2, the extra space was there to provide rear seating for your little ones only. But here credit is due to Touring, who made it hard to tell a 350 GT from a 400 GT 2+2, so subtle the differences are. Giotto Bizzarini was responsible for the V12 quad-cam engine, but it was detuned from its race mode of 360 horse at 8000 rpm to a more adequate 280 horse at 6500 rpm by Dallara on the 350 GT, with its 3.5-liter or 211 cubic inch engine. The 400 GT and 400 GT 2+2 siblings received an enlarged 4-liter or 240 cubic inch V12, also fitted with quad-cam and 6 side-draft Weber carburetors, producing now 320 horse at 6500 rpm. The 5-speed ZF gearbox was replaced now by a smoother Lamborghini unit, which was now mated to a Lamborghini rear differential, making Lamborghini's car a full in-house creation. Sadly, unlike the 350 GT, the 400 GT 2+2 was much heavier, with its extra 441 pounds or 200 kilos due to its steel construction. And while the engine was more powerful, performance was similar, with a top speed of 155 miles per hour or 250 km per hour. As for the 0 to 60 mile sprint, it was done in 6.5 seconds, but as the 350 GT, the 400 series had an all-independent wishbone suspension, giving the 400 GT an edge over Ferrari by having a better handling and controlled smooth ride over poor road surfaces. For stopping power, Lamborghini was once more ahead of Ferrari by using gearling disc brakes all around. As an evolution of the 350, the 400 GT 2 Plus 2 sold relatively well, with almost double the volume sold, with 224 units produced between 1966 and 68. Two custom 400 GT 2 Plus 2 were made, one named the Flying Star 2 and created again by Touring, and another one done by Neri and Bonaccini, who supplied chassis to Lamborghini. Unlike later on Testeron and ego-driven mid-engine boy toys, the 350 and 400 series were mature and civilized sports car with a certain practicality and common sense dictated by the need for achieving greatness, a philosophy that wouldn't last long in Sant'Agata.